Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darksiders 2. So we've ended up on Earth, but it's really just gonna, I think, be a kind of big dungeon. Like you can see the map is depicted as a dungeon. It is just this side portion of the Lost Light area, which is a really small map in the first place. And in a throwback to the original game, we have this weapon, this angel gun that we can pick up, which makes no sense at all. Like, really no sense at all, because it is totally not a loot item like every single other weapon in the game. You can't de-equip it. You can only just put it down. These guns are pretty strong. We're getting horns. Unlike the first game, you're not really... There's a bit of collectible. Like, can I not walk through this door with the gun? Seems like I might not actually be able to do that. Let's just make sure that there's nothing else around here worth collecting or picking up. There we go. So, like, super strong, but if I'm gonna shoot them this way, they're not really dropping anything. I'm noticing that nobody's dropping any gold. So you gotta put it down, and then you're back to your two primary weapons and all your armor. And... There's just an entire invisible wall here. And that's where I'm supposed to go. Like, that's where Dust is telling me to go. Here's another one of these guns that I had to put down to actually had to use it. So there's some scatter shot. Maybe I'm supposed to do something with that. And notice how that guy seemed to just get deprogrammed. I was supposed to shoot the aliens, or I mean the angels. Not supposed to do anything with that. My instincts are telling me that that can't be circumnavigated. So I may have to just transport out of this area and transport back. We'd already run into one major issue in this game with the Archon causing you to level up and causing the game to crash. Like, I wonder if there's perhaps some kind of reward you'll trigger if you break everything, because there was something like that in the first game. But this is such a callback now. It's so not in connection with the game that they've been selling us for 20 plus hours. Like, honestly, this probably should just be a demo, like just some small bit of demo gameplay that you would have people play, something that's not even part of the main story, because you have only two possibilities here. They lie effectively and tell you that you go back to Earth, and while that's not completely untrue, it's not really very honest either if you're only going to spend a infinitesimally small amount of time at Earth. Or they could have just advertised it and said you don't spend any point of the game in Earth. And see, this looks like something that the Definitive Edition almost certainly is adding that bug into it. That it worked before, and now we've got some kind of VSync issue. Which, I guess we'll try it. Now, this game already, we know, breaks when VSync is turned off. So, come to the options, vertical sync off, resume, walk. And I'd have to restart the game to even do that, so forget that. Like, these guys won't go that direction. There's nothing to grab onto. Like, this is a full wall. Like, this whole section is just not loaded. So back we go. And let's just load out of this area and load back in and see if it fixes it. We talked to Uriel, the only major female character in the game. Let's see if the Archon has anything. Maybe I did need to go talk to him.
Part of Arafel is in pieces, broken by the destroyer. They must not make them like they used to.
I could say the same for you, Rydo. Absalom would have the key by now.
That's where you're wrong. Absalom wouldn't need it.
Like, just double check our quests. Travel to Earth. Now, I did not see any pinned bug report around this. Why would you want to even play with the guns, though? And it works just fine. Ridiculous. Why did they even release a new version of this game when it's this buggy? Why not take another 6 months to QA it? Like, there was no time, no pressure. Nothing said they had to ever even begin a process of making a definitive edition for Darksiders 2, because I'm pretty sure Darksiders 2 still ran fine. Like, I think it still ran just fine on Windows 10. So, what was the pressure? Why did they rush out this definitive edition? They could have just focused on the War Mastered edition and said, hey, we'll release the definitive edition of Darksiders 2 a year from now, and both products will be better. So I'm gonna have to decide what level of... I guess this red stuff probably is just wall, and I'm never gonna break it. I need to decide what level of area destruction I want to do. Remember, war can pick up cars. I guess I don't want to do too much area destruction. And here's another angel. Let's see. So there's things that are holding the angels' bodies. Like, clearly this is the equivalent of the Panzer Dragoon sequence in the first one, where you were flying around and shooting. And you have infinite refilling bullets, so you can run out, but you'll eventually overheat when the bar is filled up. And if you do that, you get close to overheating. Need to look around a little bit just to see if there's anything. So we have a level 17 suffering. And I took him out. Like, you really didn't need to fight this guy with this gun, unless their plan is to make you lose the guns later on. We got some destructible environment, which is slightly interesting, I guess. But it's a real mixed bag of what is destructible and what isn't. And I've kind of just gone from one area to another area that seems very similar. Like one street park area to a parking lot. Not a lot of variety of Earth in the first game either. In the sense that as soon as you got away from this small section, you started to be in areas that felt like they in no way could have been Earth at all. And felt like the Forge lands a lot more. Just trying to see if there's anything special. And this shotgun shot is really the only good way to test for environmental damage. But you can't jump when you're doing this, so you're trading one ability. We haven't seen pipes that go nowhere in a while. Again, this feels like a completely different team made this section. I mean, this section could have easily just been like a thought of DLC or something for the first game. Book Page of the Dead. Here's and every time these horns go off, the people attack. And so we heard horns happening at the very beginning of the first game, but this is not then. This has to be taking place sometime between the first scene of Darksiders 1 and the final scene of Darksiders 1. And so now we're going to start getting into underground areas that are going to feel a little different, and that was a really drastic transition. It's kind of an interesting system that they're doing here. You don't see a lot of this where monsters are programmed to spawn out of your sight and then run towards you. It's completely different from what we've been seeing before, where monsters had pre-programmed pathways. So there's 8 more of those. Maybe we'll find them all, hopefully, as a side quest. This will be a different dungeon, I suppose. They started running before the horn this time. See, I just want to play thoroughly and not miss anything, because this would be a really awful place to have to come back and collect something if you missed it. I imagine what we'll find is we'll get to the end of an area and then fast travel back, and it'll just be a straight linear dungeon instead of a circular path where we'll find some shortcut back to the central place. Am I getting experience for all of this, or did they literally just give this gun to me because they knew this section was going to be too long and boring? Like, because this could be just a really long and boring section that's not giving you any experience at all. I guess I need to look at the top of the health bar and see if I'm moving upward. And even if I am getting experience, it's probably a really small amount. And I don't think my main quest is built around killing these angels. So I guess my experience bar right now is on level with the blue bar. Has a little black marker on it, a black mark. So if I get definitively past that black mark, then I'll know I've gotten some experience in this. I mean, this almost feels like this is a planned grinding section of gameplay, built completely around the idea of having people grind. Let's see. Don't want to jump down. I just shot something. I have no idea what I just shot. I kind of have a hard time believing that there's going to be like rocks or stones to collect in this area. Like, I really need to defeat the boss of this character, these characters, and have them stop attacking in such large numbers. Alright. Put this down. Grab some chests. It is by far incredibly slower to try and kill these characters without the gun. There's another relic to collect. Just jump down this way. We're crawling in the sewers. I guess I'm a little satisfied with the idea of not crawling in the sewers and being covered in sewage. I'm happy with that. Interesting. There was a stone. Are those stones? I guess those aren't stones, because if they were, I would have hit them by now. So there is one collectible that could have been missed, at least. Music's gotten a little quieter. And apparently just shooting this gives you a bit of a portion of the rod. I think that's it. I think that's a bit of the rod. Just they've kind of simpled it. The Staff of Alpha. One part of the rod of Alpha, the Staff of Alpha engulfs the holder in its true power. Let's just take a moment to say, no, we don't have a new ability. So this is definitely just a collectible. Still looking for the solution to level 1. Yes, so the map as it is just going to get bigger and bigger until we get a dungeon map, and we may very well not get one at all. There's a collectible. Let's keep an eye. Alright, so how do we do this? Like, there's no smooth wall here. Like, none at all. Oh, can I do this the whole time? Geez, how many pages of the Book of the Dead could I have grabbed with Death Grip? Probably could have grabbed dozens of them, and instead well, most of them, to be fair, are usually just on the ground. Easy enough to access. It's really, really late in the game for them to be introducing things like that. Wow, this is the first dungeon we've ever done that goes full circle. Like, that's pretty crazy. This is the teleport point. And the Hell Guard have decided to move on, so the angels aren't here anymore. They're over here. And I don't think they have anything they're gonna say, but Yuri will probably give me a cutscene.
Be wary. There are things that lurk beyond these barricades that the Hellguard dare not face head on.
And the remaining rod pieces, do they lie past the barricades?
Yes. Pass through the city, and you will find the next piece beneath the earth, in an old abandoned tunnel.
Where will I find the final fragment?
I do not know. But the rod has a will of its own. Find the second piece, and it may tell me where the last resides.
You kind of wish you could play as Uriel. Like, she would be a very cool character to play as.
Be about your task, Ryder. I have told you everything I know.
So, yeah, but you know, it would have to be probably a prequel to the series. Not too much of a problem there. And I don't know how well you could make, or even try to make, a trilogy of the angel characters and other characters who are secondary characters to the Darksiders series. I mean, you could certainly do it. The Lightsiders one. There's seems like there's enough room for a story to tell. Of course, why make a direct spin-off? Why not instead just make a character that is interesting as Uriel is and looks somewhat similar, and then you don't have to fall into the Star Wars issue of trying to keep everything in canon. I'm thinking there might be a stone back there, but I don't. Looks like a visual glitch, actually. Lots and lots of visual glitches in this game, on top of game-breaking glitches. Like several game-breaking glitches. Why do these angels die so easily is a good question. Like, they have the exact same gun that I'm using right now. So unless there was some canonical reason that, like, Death's power charges up this gun way stronger than an average angel holding it does. Like, why are they not making bank like me? Hey, there's only 5 more of those stones to find. I guess until New Game Plus happens. Again, those guys are really, really easy to kill right now. These guys just keep coming. We can see our experience bar has moved up. So that's good to know. We are slowly grinding our experience. But it certainly isn't moving up any faster than most of every other kill we've seen. And every now and then we're getting health, but these characters are definitely not like giving me gold or weapons. And I could see this section being some sort of experiment, trying to figure out should there be loot drops on the enemies at all. Like I could get the idea of them wanting to not have any enemies drop loot and instead all loot be regulated to simply the chests. And we're collecting these pages of the dead rather quickly. But then the cars are dropping loot, so they change their mind at some point. It's just the enemies aren't dropping loot. And I kind of have to wonder, is this just a plain and simple oversight on the part of the creators who ported over this section, which seems very much like it's it may have been from the first game. I guess this game deserves a little bit of credit though, because my timer's gone off. It's been another 30 minutes and I don't want to quite put this game down. However, this is a really, really long way to reward the player. Like, it feels like this is supposed to be a reward section where you have this really powerful gun. Maybe if you're playing on extremely hardcore difficulties, it's not so much of a reward doing this part. It feels like in the first game I spent a lot of time a lot of time also working around shooting things, whether it gave me small bits of souls or not. I guess the guilt concept fixes a problem in the first game where souls were the currency and souls were in everything. You'd kill one creature and he'd be full of a dozen souls. You'd destroy a desk and it would have souls in it. That opens the world to some really odd questions. So now we have the dungeon map. Alright. So they want me to get the second piece of the rod and then work my way, I imagine, all the way through this section and come out this way, and seems like the higher sections of the game are not going to be too many. So this whole dungeon is a three-way looping back to the center, much like in the first game. There was a quest that all went back to a central area, although it did not look like this and all. 23 hours of gameplay now. We have basically 2 more recordings and then we will have spent a day playing this game. This game does not deserve to be played for a day. It really doesn't. And remember, they want you to do New Game Plus. Remember, max level seems like it's level 60. We're level 19 right now. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.